Appeal to the women members of parliament. Please, you have always raised your voice. Raise it harder, and there are no apologies. We are not sorry to say when this happens, gender-based violence, domestic violence, teenage pregnancies, we are already losing the gains we have already achieved. You can imagine in most cases where the girls have to drop out of school, it creates a chain of poverty. And that's why the government is concerned, because government is always fighting poverty so that they can improve the quality of life of its citizens. So anything that threatens or may cause poverty to increase, the government is at forefront to fight that. The COVID-19 crisis is like a crisis like any other. And as even we shared this platform this morning, we can for sure say it has affected men and women differently. Therefore, in this impact, then we are trying to see what intervention would the government be able to give, and the government cannot work alone. That's why partnership from UN Women, from UNFPA, from other non-government organizations, including CRU, is very critical that all our hands on deck, so that this crisis, which is like any other, we are able to find some solutions, and for sure you can be able to say these solutions or the intervention we have injected, they have made a difference. Let me also thank all the organizations that have been able to participate or to contribute towards the event of today, in terms of National Youth Service, who have given 7,500 masks, which are here. We have also been given by UNFPA about 600 kits that the members of parliament will be able to take with them. These kits involves boys kit, girls dignity kit, and a family kit. And they have also been able to say, during this time of washing hands, we need jerry cans, we also need buckets, and they have given us about 600 of them. We have received very many sanitizers from Kenya Pipeline Corporation, and I think there's also another organization that has given us some sanitizers, which you'll be able to take to the constituencies.
I just want to say one thing, because my CS will speak mostly about what we are doing here today. And I want to go straight to the point that Alice, you've mentioned yourself. Alice and I, on the women agenda, cannot be separated. Alice and I, and many of the women seated here, on the women agenda cannot be separated. And I want to say this categorically as the position that I am gifted to be in, but as a woman who has fought for rights of women for many years, that whatever political dispensation, whatever time of legislation and policy making, as the women of Kenya who hold leadership positions, either by election or appointment, have the burden not to erode the gains that we have made in gender and women empowerment that was done by women who came before us. We must stand tall and proud, like the women that I always mention: Phoebe Sio, Edgar Shukia, Grace Anyango, is she? The one who was the first woman in Onyango. Julia Ojiambo, Grace Ogot, yes, you said. Nyiva Mwendwa. Women who, when it was not right to be women in politics, they came, they opened the door. Hence today, in parliament, we can boast of a number of beyond 85 women sitting in that house. And so, my cabinet secretary always asks me, my Cass, when you are done, what will the women of Kenya say that you did for them? And that is always what is in my head. So Alice, politically, it's not a must we're in the same boat. In fact, it can't work. We want women in all these boats, because whichever boat will reach, we don't know. I know my boat will reach. Alice could be convinced it will be her boat. But in that boat, we must not let the gains of women be eroded. And Madam CS, I see this with conviction, because I am a proponent and a supporter of the handshake. And the main reason why this handshake was important for Kenyans, and people forget, is because men always show us that when it comes to their political interests, they will come together. So even us, Alice, when it comes to the interests of women, we must always come together.
The things that are becoming normal, although they are abnormal, gender-based violence, Madam CS, is becoming like normal. And we know it is extremely abnormal that women are still being battered in their homes by their husbands, by their brothers, by their relatives because either of property, and they are being even thrown out of their homes with their children. Wherever a woman is battered, a child is either physically battered or emotionally battered. And so you must see that from a gender perspective or gender lens. And you must see also a child that has either learned that gender violence is normal. And so it becomes very hard to eradicate the vice. Of course, FGM. And I want to thank the president because he has stated his position in a matter that is also culturally very challenging. But he has said by 2022, he would want the country to eradicate that vice. He needs our support. He needs support of leaders who are elected to represent women, because this affects women more than it affects the rest of the community members. How will the president do it? He's the decision maker, the top leading decision maker in this country. I think one word from the president, without looking back, can eradicate the vice. I heard the president say the chiefs will be responsible for teenage pregnancies. And I was busy exchanging in other arenas and saying, no, it's not the chiefs. It is all the men that are culprits, that are impregnating, abusing children. And so it's a community responsibility. Those issues are still a big mountain for us, even as women, and they affect us differently. During this period, Madam CS, some women have died because of being unable to access maternal health care. The curfew time has come. A woman has gone into labor. She goes out. There's one case that happened in Ukambani. She wants to be taken to hospital. Her husband cannot pass a barrier because there is curfew. These are some of the challenges we never foresaw. We need a gender lens. We need a gender dimension in all the activities that the government is taking. Food distribution, Madam CS, also must target women as a special group. I think mothers are the ones who bring food to the table. They cook, they provide. I know their husbands, the male counterparts, the men in this country are supposed to feed their family. But let's be realistic and honest. How many are bringing food alone without the participation of women? The participation of women is critical, and we must target cash transfer to go to women even before we can target the men. Because even the money the women have belongs to the men. Cut her space and was elected the Member of Parliament for Gilgil. Honorable Sarah Lokodere. Forgive me, Sarah. Sarah is the able Member of Parliament for Laikipia North. And Sarah was also nominated first. You know, when we talk about empowerment, those two women are indicative of the way you do it when you empower them. And she was able to be elected in a Maasai constituency. Honorable Edith Nyenze, after he passed away. Congratulations, Edith, for joining Parliament. I'm sure you'll get now yours next term. Yours, you know, this was for the late Nyenze, your dear husband. Now we want you to get yours next term. Honorable Rachel Nyamai, Kitui South. This is the chairperson, Lads Committee in the National Assembly. This also her second term, Madam.
Clap for the CS. The consignment is moving to various constituencies in the county governments. Donation. The second vehicle is coming. Second vehicle is coming. Congratulations. God is good for Kenyans. Kenya, one people, a brother and a sister. You have to care for your... Thank you. This will go to us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Taking only care of the girls.